Thank you for listening to the official YouTube page of Midnight Triple Feature. Please, while you listen, head over to midnighttriplefeature.blogspot.com. You can check out past shows, reviews, or link up to social media where we can keep in touch. Thank you for listening.
Alex Sykes was institutionalized exactly 1 year ago after the brutal slaying of his family and was spotted only an hour after his escape exiting a local five and dime shop.
Come on, guys, let's play a game.
What kind of game?
Hide and seek. What?
Alex Sykes, the Easter Bunny guy. He escaped this morning.
You know, I almost didn't come tonight. I had this really weird feeling on.
You two are afraid some sad sack in a bunny costume is gonna come here and kill us all. Why'd you even come?
That was night of the East, or night before Easter. Before,
right.
Can I? This guy over here. Man.
I know. What the fuck?
All right, I gotta say, before we get like detail for this, I don't know what you got down for. I just want to say what I actually liked about this.
All right, so you want to go right off the bat? Go ahead.
Let's go right off the bat.
You don't want to give me a plot or nothing. You want me to run through a plot?
Yeah, oh yeah, go ahead.
I have a
Go
plot. A group of friends gather together inside of a self-storage facility on the night before Easter Sunday to catch up on old times and partake in a friendly game of hide and seek. Their evening of fun takes a deadly turn when one by one they are targeted by a mysterious psychopath in an Easter Bunny costume. Proceed.
All right, first of all, this movie was done on a very low budget by podcasters.
$4,000 estimated.
It was done by podcasters just like us.
Right.
People who love horror and decided, hey, we're going to make a movie.
Exactly.
The second thing I like about this is it's a group of friends who meet up in one location.
Okay.
Just like any old school horror slasher movie, a group of friends, they meet up. I'm not going to compare it to Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, one location, group of friends meet up, everybody gets killed. That's what I liked about this. I thought that was
classic
an awesome
slasher movie.
Yes.
So yes, directed by Joseph Henson and Nathan Johnson, as you said, they are podcasters.
Yep.
They're actually part of a podcast that specifically reviews slasher films. That's all they do. So them and two other guys. One of them is named Justin Kurzweil and Eric something. Anyway, Justin Kurzweil is a published author. He wrote a book about slasher movies. I've actually read it. It's pretty good. Anyway, this is their first film. They love slasher films. So their goal, I guess, I'm assuming, I don't know 100%.
Who did he play as the character?
Who's that? Which one?
The Eric.
Eric, he was the voiceover that you heard in the intro. The newscaster.
Okay, so he wasn't in the movie.
No, and Justin,
okay.
I think, was just a picture.
Yeah.
But, alright, so basically what I think they wanted to do was, I'm gonna throw this back to like 4 weeks ago. We reviewed, Bloody Bloody Bible Camp, which was a slasher movie made in the vein of a spoof.
Group of friends, one location.
Right. But the difference being that they set out to make a comedy. These guys, and I do have to give these guys props, regardless of how successful they were. They set out to do something much more difficult, which is to make an actual slasher movie. They weren't going for comedy, which is so much more difficult to do. It's in my mind anyway, it's easy to do lowbrow humor, say Trauma style, than it is to go in and be like, we're gonna make My Bloody Valentine. You're going completely different, because you're actually trying to make a movie. A serious movie. They really were. Like, you can tell they were. They weren't joking around. There's not... So, yes, I'm gonna give them that. Now, I'm gonna talk about the score first, because I get the feeling you didn't like it, the score. I did. So...
There's a few things I didn't like, but
right,
yeah.
Can you play the clip? I gave you a clip, so let's play a quick clip. Here's the thing. So, you're making an 80s throwback slasher film, right? You have to go with synth, first of all. It makes the most sense. It's...
easy to do.
Right. I personally thought it was actually pretty good. I did. I really did. I am not not doing fan service. I'm not trying. I am 100% legitimately saying that I think the score is good. Actually think it's one of the better aspects of the movie.
now I do a lot of music.
Yeah.
And it's not bad.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to say that the music that whoever did the music didn't do a bad job.
It was the director's brother, I believe.
Okay. He did not do a bad job.
Right.
I just don't think it fits with this film.
But I don't think that's the score's fault. Here's the thing. I actually would argue that the score is one of the best things about the movie. So, like, in my argument would be that the score is on. I don't want. It's better than the movie. Honestly, I think I do. I think the score is better than the movie.
No, it's good. I
think it doesn't.
For me,
fit.
it doesn't fit.
I think it doesn't fit because it's better.
It's more like an 80s like Valley Girl type
That's
movie.
what they're going for, though.
But it's a slasher.
That's
not
what
a
they're
Valley
going
Girl movie.
But here's the thing is, if you watch something like, say, My Bloody Valentine, right? Most of that movie is actually about the people in the movie and not about the horror movie. It's actually about the group of friends. So you're actually making an 80s teen movie. You're not really making an 80s horror movie. You're making a movie focused on the characters. So in my opinion, I would say, well, maybe if you're making an 80s teen movie, this is the way you're going to go. Just my opinion.
No, I get you.
So I think I could be wrong, but you know, the way we see slasher movies today, it's a bunch of unlikable people being killed off by killer, where you normally would root for the killer. Here, you may root for the killer because the actors themselves cause you to, but I think that their intent was to try to make characters likable enough. You know what I mean? I think the acting fails
Badly.
Yeah, I do. I think
Well,
there's some
because
good ones.
they don't give you enough time to establish any character.
No, I think they give you a lot of time. Like, here's the thing. You said yourself, right? So you're like 40 minutes in, you're falling asleep.
Yeah, because they spent like a half an hour just sitting around in a circle talking about
That
bullshit.
was them attempting to establish them.
All right, so
I'm saying they had
But there
enough
was
time, but they didn't do it.
They didn't individualize the conversations. Like they should have had the
Right.
camera on one-on-one,
Yes.
one-on-one. They had them all around talking, so it was like just a
that was my
garbled.
problem.
That scene did not work
It
at
was
all.
like a
I
lot of
hated that
shit
scene.
coming
Didn't
at
work.
you.
Didn't work.
You cannot concentrate
Didn't
on
work.
one
when you're
conversation.
You cannot concentrate on one conversation when
Right.
everybody in that circle is talking.
Exactly.
Right. Now,
Until they break up and go play
and
hide and seek.
here's this is what I find interesting about it is, all right, so if I'm gonna like in real life, if there's a giant group of people and they're all sitting around talking, that's how they do it.
Mhm.
They sit in a big circle and they talk.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever watch people, that's what they do. They form a circle. But this isn't real life. So in a movie, doesn't work.
No.
It absolutely does. Everybody's talking over each other. It becomes distracting.
Garbled.
And I agree, it doesn't work for me. It's
But
And
you
I think
can
that's
make
where it
it.
lost me. That's
You
where
can make
lost
it
me.
look like everybody's talking at one time. If you film
Yes.
everything individually, you can make it
Yes.
look like everybody
Yeah,
is
but
talking
you
at the same
zone
time.
into one conversation
Yeah.
at a
Yes.
time. Everybody else can be doing their thing.
right.
Zone into one conversation and go back and forth.
Yeah, that goes back to time. You got to remember this is
Exactly.
low budget. They're time restricted.
No,
they
I
got
was
to get
gonna
everything
mention,
I
done.
understand
like,
that.
I would assume there's not time to go back and reshoot. Like, whatever you get in the can, so to speak,
Yeah. Yeah.
is what you get probably. I know they reshot some stuff, but I'm guessing they shot it there, like, at the same time.
Oh, probably. And
So-
one thing I noticed during that whole conversation that bothered me was the lighting. Everything in the background was so bright.
Right.
Yeah.
The lighting in
Yep.
that scene is completely blown out in the background.
Yes,
I think it gets better later.
it
and
does.
Here's what I'm just assuming, but you secure this location. You're a first-time filmmaker. You probably don't realize how difficult it really is to shoot in a storage facility, because can you imagine how much
Lighting
of a
is a
fucking
key.
nightmare the sound must have been? Can
Well,
you
it's
imagine?
gonna
That
be
was one of my. That was
echoing
going to
like
be one
hell,
of my.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I think they did a pretty good job, because that must, you imagine like what that must have sounded
well,
like.
it was good until it hit the two girls.
The two girls
The
is the
two
scene where
girls,
you
and as
notice
soon as
it.
it
Right.
just like it was prominent.
Yes.
I'm like, whoa, where the hell are they? In a fucking tube?
That's where you notice
You
it.
know?
But that's what I'm saying is I would guess that there's a lot of scenes that would have sounded like that didn't. So I'm going to say that they must have managed somehow to work around it. I got to give them some props for that.
Yeah.
The whole movie could have sounded like that, and it didn't. I think, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's. I can only, like I said, I can only imagine how difficult it is. But as far as I have a little note here on the characters. So I said there aren't any unlikable characters besides Melissa, the bitchy one. But I actually liked her.
I actually liked her.
Right. But most are pretty.
She was the only one.
Most are pretty bland. Like the problem is that it's not that they're unlikable. It's that either you don't develop them or they're just too blah. Now the characters that I did like were Melissa, the bitchy one. I like Dante. And
I hated him.
I liked Dante, man. Liked him. I thought he was. I did. I
when
liked
he flipped
him.
that $20 bill, I just
Doesn't
wanted
matter.
to
I
punch
liked
him right in the face.
I liked him.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I
I'm like,
liked
come on,
Dante.
bitch.
I liked him.
Yeah.
Bam.
I think he was one of the better actors. He's not consistent. He's all over the place. I liked the character because he seemed like the kind of guy that I actually would like to be around. Where he at least felt like a character to me. You know?
I like the bunny rabbit.
Yeah. He felt like a
whatever.
dude that you could just joke around with, you know?
And I liked the actress who played Kelly. I actually thought she was very good.
Oh, yeah.
Now, regardless of whether I like the character, I don't know, she's the really bubbly one, the heavyset one. I actually thought she was good in the movie because I didn't, like, her lines felt natural to me. Like, as I was watching, I did feel like that was probably who she really was.
Yeah, there was too much drama there.
But
way too much
But
drama.
that's what they're going for, right?
You know what I like
but
about
she
that?
wasn't. There was no match. There was no there was no level of I can't express it. Levelness, like evenness amongst everybody.
What do you
She
mean?
was like overly dramatic.
But that's why they brought Melissa in, right? To try to counter it?
And it
Oh,
didn't do. I don't know if
Right.
that worked for me anyway.
Well, and here's
They
the,
didn't really
here's the
interact
thing,
much.
Is I'm gonna also argue at the same time that the reason that you're getting that feeling is because I think she's doing a better job on camera than they are. Like, I actually think that she is playing her character better than almost everyone else around
And you
her.
know what? Maybe, and I'll agree with you on that point. Maybe everybody else around her sucks so bad that it just made her suck even worse when she was dramatic.
I would think deficiency shows where your non-deficiency is.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm working next to you and you really suck at your job,
Yeah,
and I'm
you're-
better than you, I'm gonna look really good.
Yeah.
So I'm actually saying she looks better than them, not
Yeah.
worse. Now, the actress that plays Melissa, I think, is actually pretty good.
Yeah, no, I agree with John.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I do agree with you there too.
So the acting's all over the place. I'm not going.
Yeah. Because everybody's different in that.
They try, yeah. There's too many, and that brings me down to
You know what I like about it too is that it's almost like so repetitive on what a woman is supposed to be and what she's supposed to act like and what
Right.
she's supposed to look like. And then you introduce this character who is not anything like that.
Right.
Non-conformant.
It's just a different view, and it's like, all right, great, because somebody is seeing what I'm seeing.
Right.
You
Right.
know, which I like.
So what I'm saying is that character felt the most real to me out of everybody there.
Yeah.
It just did. If
It
that
did.
felt like a person that, whether you like her or not, doesn't really matter. What matters is whether or not she feels like a real person. To me, she does. And that's why, I don't know if I would want to be around her because she is overly, but the character itself, I think she actually did a very good job. But I do have an issue with. I'm not going to discuss who the final girl is. They do have a final girl, which is what you would expect to see in an 80s slasher. You almost always have a final girl, except in like The Burning, which we reviewed, where you had a final boy, and a few others. But the final girl seemed really random to me.
It wasn't who you would expect it to be.
No, but do you think that was the right decision?
Yes and no.
Okay.
If you go with no, then you're looking at it as that's not what I expected, so I don't like it.
Right.
Because you're not used to seeing that in other films.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
But the way they did it,
Right.
you were like, well, all right, I can see that. I don't even know if I'm explaining it right, to be honest with you.
I think I know what you mean. So, like, you're basically saying that they went almost against the grain of what you would have expected.
It was
to
like
see.
they followed the rules all the way up until that
That
point.
was sort of my problem.
Yeah?
Because they followed the rules until the end. And then, like, my thought was, okay, you're making an 80s throwback slasher movie, right? You're going to follow these specific set of rules that you've already set up that this is how this is supposed to go. But at the end, you're going to break that rule.
Who says you can't break the rules?
No
If I'm making a movie...
If you're going to break it, you better give me a final girl that I care about.
if I'm making a movie,
there has to be some sort of a resolve.
There has to be somebody there. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
but if I'm making a movie and I'm like, all right, rule, and then I'm like, you know what? Fuck the rules. I'm gonna do what I want because this is my film that I'm making.
Right.
Then why can't I do that? Why do I have to follow what everybody else is doing?
No, you can absolutely do it, but you got to do it right. To me, Final Girl was bland. Right. and the final confrontation didn't work for me either. Again, I'm all gonna say is that most of it takes place off screen.
Oh yeah.
That bothers me.
Okay, come on. You guys can't tell me that janitor did not look like Ozzy Osbourne.
She may. I don't.
Come
remember.
on.
I don't remember. She was. I did actually, to mention the janitor, I actually did like that because she was the red shirt, or not the red shirt, the
blue suit,
the herring or whatever it is they call it.
Yeah.
Where she's the one where you're supposed to assume she's the killer. They did it on purpose, obviously.
Yeah.
But in Friday the 13th, it's that dude is like, you're doomed, you're all doomed, that guy. And in My Bloody Valentine, it's the bartender. There's always that guy, that person.
I never thought that guy...
It follows the rules.
Exactly! So why wouldn't you follow the rules all the way through? Why would you break them at the end? It's weird. I like that they follow the rules because and then like you even follow the rule to the point where you have this like throwback to My Bloody Valentine, which I'm pretty sure it is, where when you have the reveal of the killer, who I'm not going to reveal, you have that throwback to the scene of them as a child. That's My Bloody Valentine. Right? Remember the scene in My Bloody Valentine where they go back to him as a child and he sees all the stuff happening? Like, you went all the way to that extreme. Like, you followed that. You know? I'm not saying I have an issue with them going off from who the final girl should be. But if you're gonna do it, you have to give me a final girl that doesn't seem like a throwaway
character. Alright, so you're saying don't follow the rules if you're not going to follow them all the way through. So you're saying Walking Dead, don't base your show on the comic book if you're not going to follow the comic book all the way through.
If you're going to break the comic book, you better do it good.
But they do it all the time.
Yeah, but if they do it right, I'll say it. If they don't, I say fuck you.
They're constantly going off the comic book.
And what do? We call them out on it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
That's
I'm not saying I don't like it.
Huh?
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying this is what I'm used to seeing. This is what I'm used to reading.
Right.
And I don't want to see that, but when they do it, I have to say, all right, well, it's because I don't want to know what is going to go. If they followed the book, then you're going to know what the fuck happens.
Right.
All the time.
Right.
So if this movie followed the rules all the way through until that final part, you're going to know what's going to happen.
It would be a disappointment.
I agree with you.
I wouldn't be disappointed, but you're already going to know what's going to happen.
I agree with you on that.
You're anticipating what's going to happen.
I am agreeing with you. My issue is that I don't think they did it well. So, like, my thing is that they decided to go that route, but the way that it was done didn't work for me because the final.
What didn't work?
The final girl they gave, come on, man. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but.
Oh, I know. Well,
you know, I mean, come on. She was like, all she did was mope around, and like, it just.
You're not going to tell us who it is.
No,
you should have watched it.
But
I fell asleep, and then I woke up, it was 6:30.
It's just,
yeah, I think we're on two different pages on this one.
We definitely are. Right?
I think I know who it is, too.
All right, you may. I do want to talk about the killer, since we're not going to agree on that fucking scene.
If you want to talk about the killer, all right, so, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Not really, but I listed out every kill.
No shit.
I listed
Not
out...
by character, right? Because I don't want to spoil it.
Yep.
We don't want to spoil it.
No, I'm not going to spoil it, but
okay.
I mean, for my own notes, I did it out by character. After kill 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I wrote down who I thought the killer was in my notes. After kill 5,
okay, let's see if you got it.
I knew exactly who it was.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got it. Right.
So I knew who it was after that kill. Do I say how I knew? Or do I let people try to figure it out on their own?
Wait a minute.
I wouldn't... Right.
Yeah?
What?
Yeah. No,
that wasn't the killer, no.
Oh.
Oh, shit. That just fucked. Right there. See that? Right there, under number 5. Do you know who he's talking about?
Are you fucking kidding me?
I knew exactly who it was after that happened.
I didn't, because I just assumed that what they were telling me was the truth.
Because they followed the rules.
That just doesn't.
And when they followed the rules, I knew who it was going to be.
And
it doesn't fit though.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
if you watched it all the way through,
yeah, it would fit.
You would have known who it was.
Right.
And I'll tell you off air.
It didn't
how
bother
I knew,
me
because I don't want to spoil it for everybody.
I hear
it didn't bother me who it was, but you're right.
No,
I should have known.
It didn't bother me either.
You actually are right. I should have known that. I didn't. I actually thought that what I was led to believe was just the way it was. You're right. I should have known that something else was up. But.
Yeah, I guess that I knew it then.
Right.
And at that point, I was like, I was on the fence, but
I went with it. I thought I went with it. I did.
So.
It made sense to me. They explained it to me in that My Bloody Valentine type flashback. Worked. Have you ever seen the movie Girls Night Out?
No.
For whatever reason, I don't know if they were thinking about this or not, but that movie's about a guy in a giant bear suit that runs around killing sorority girls. And for whatever reason,
sounds like my kind of movie.
When I was watching, I have it on DVD. When I was watching this movie, I was thinking about that movie because guy in a giant furry suit. Let's see, what do I got? Let's see. The kills, I did have some issues with the way the kills were done. Not the effect, the effects, they're, $4,000. And that's all I'm going to say.
It was all spent on special effects.
Okay, what I'm going to say is that my issue with some of the kills was that they're all just shot like stationary.
Scene after scene.
We know.
There's no chases except for like a couple.
All right, so obviously, this is a slasher film, so I'll leave it up to you. I have every kill and how they were killed.
Okay, let's go. All right.
So, I'm not going to give away who it was, but I can tell you exactly in order how it goes down. If you want to do that.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
First one was axe. Second one was sawed back. Third one was choked with a chain. Fourth one was throat cut. Fifth one was axe. Sixth one was axe. Seventh one was axe. And eighth one was off screen, so we don't exactly know how it happened.
There were a few off screen, right?
Yeah.
So, the off screen stuff doesn't...
But I did write... I can't say that. I'll say it. I'll say that.
The off screen stuff doesn't bother me so much. I think what bothers me a little bit is the way some of the kills were shot. Like, it's camera, Bunny runs up to camera with axe. Person walks down...
And then it's cut.
Right. Person walks down the hallway, Bunny comes out, throws, saw, dead. Like, there's no build-up of any kind. And that is unusual for an 80s throwback. Like, if you watch these movies,
there's always a build-up.
They build it up, build it up. So, like, there's no, real, killer's lurking. There's no killer chasing.
You know what it reminded me of?
You know what really built it up to? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but a lot of those 80s slashers and movies like that, the music usually built it up.
I liked the music here.
When you know someone was about to get killed, you knew it because of the music, the way it was playing.
Right.
It would start off slow and then boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Dead.
But you also build it up with, it's music, it's also camera, this is too much like camera down, kill, camera down, kill, there's no there's not enough movement, there's not enough stalking, there's no
smooth
there's
transition.
no suspense built into it.
Yeah.
What it reminded me of was a TV cut.
Okay.
Because, if you were watching this on TV, they cut it right at the moment of kill.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me at all.
That part didn't bother me. It was the build-up to the kill that bothered me. It wasn't the kill itself. None of the kills themselves bothered me because I was fine with them swinging the axe cut because they did that in the 80s, especially when they were editing these movies down to get R's. So that didn't bother me. What bothered me was the suspense of the kill. It's somebody walks around a corner, walks 5 feet down a hallway, dead. That to me is it's too sudden. It feels just like, all right, we need a kill, so let's put a kill. We need a kill, let's put a kill. It needs more. And for a movie that's only 65 minutes long with credits, I think they could have done it. I think they could have built in more chase, more suspense, it needed it. I think it needed it. I think that's why you, Jeff, fell asleep or wanted to fall asleep.
Well, it's because he's old.
Yeah, but it lacks suspense in much of it. I think there's a chase scene with Melissa that I think is pretty good.
He's shaking his head.
So,
he's got something to say. He just ain't saying it.
I think there's a chase scene with Melissa.
So,
What else do I have?
Yeah, no, I think we're on different pages on that one, because...
We're on different pages on a lot of parts of the movie, so I'm liking things that you didn't, you're liking things that I didn't. Jeff fell asleep, so...
Alright, well, we gotta move on from it, so...
I know. I don't have much else to say, other than it's still more than I could have done with $4,000 on a first time. I'm
gonna say, absolutely, check it out. I liked it. I really did like it.
Yeah.
I like that whole low budget. I mean, when you can take $4,000 and your friends or whoever they are and
they
say,
hired actors.
No, they spent that $4,000 on booze.
I'm like,
no, that was root beer, definitely. They looked like root beer bottles.
Yeah,
they had red caps.
They did. That was...
and it was a $2 styrofoam cooler. So,
no, they hired it. They actually did a casting process on this. Brought in actors, hired local actors. They did it right. They didn't just... My biggest complaint about indie films is that it's your friends in a backyard. You didn't put anything more into it. That's my biggest thing. And I don't think they did that. They went through 2 campaign funds on this. They went through a Kickstarter that failed, and then I think they went through an Indiegogo that had $4,000 as a final amount, and then they funded the rest through producers and whatnot. It was like, I think it might have been... I mean, the original goal was $10,000.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I like to say, first film, I want to see what else they can do.
Their next feature length is going to be called Gory Graduation. And it's going to be an 80s throwback.
Hopefully it's not in the same storage room.
No. Well, they're hoping to get more money, the whole idea is that you start with one movie, you then take that one and then piggyback. So you start with this, and then hopefully next time you get, if you had made this for 5, you make the next one hopefully for 15 or 20. And then you go from there and hopefully...
Build yourself up.
These guys know slasher movies. It's more a question of whether or not they can make them. I know movies too, but I doubt I could really make them. That's the difference.
We can make a movie.
It's harder than you think.
All right,
it may not be a slasher, but we can make a movie.
All right, so moving on.
I recommend it for you gotta like the indie stuff. It's not gonna...
Yeah, definitely.
I couldn't show this to my wife. She'd fucking hate it,
So I'm gonna say I liked it. Check it out.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I say check it out with the disclaimer that if you're a fan of... You gotta be a fan of this genre, the 80s slasher. I think you're gonna get a kick out of some of the stuff they're doing. But if you're like a general fan, I wouldn't watch it.
All right, what do you say, Sleepy Jeff?
I like the bunny rabbit.
So you're saying avoid it.
Wait, so you're into furries then?
Yeah, I'm into furries, yeah.
You can say
what
avoid
was that
it.
chick's name? Melissa?
Melissa.
Yeah, she was hot.
You can say don't watch. It's okay.
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, well,
you can say I hated it.
I hated it.
Okay.
I really did.
There you go.
I got to get into the groove.
That's good. That's fair enough.
Dude, if we had more time, I would ask you why you hated it, but we really got to move on because I really want to defend this film so bad.
Me too. Yeah.
Like, I really
you know what really?
It's funny though, because if you took my defenses and your defenses and put them together,
it's a perfect movie.
It's a perfect movie.
What really killed it for me right off the bat, and I know they're just starting out, but from watching well-made and put together movies to watching something like that, for me, the beginning part where they are just all sitting around bullshitting, I'm tough. Like, this is supposed to be a fucking slasher movie. Get the fucking moving. Get it going.
That's how they were, man.
And that's
well, it's an 80s style slasher movie.
But it was not like the
Go back and rewatch
80s.
Go back and rewatch Friday the 13th. You'll be shocked.
Yeah, but they didn't have like a
dude, if you look at Friday the 13th too, with Jason. No, the one with Jason. What? You don't get a kill until like 45 minutes in.
That's okay though, because
no, you get the opening kill. You always get the opening.
Oh yeah, you get the opening kill, and then it's a bunch of people just talking for 45 minutes on a beach and running around the woods, fucking and showing tits. Then Jason shows up.
Let me see if I can explain myself correctly. You got a big fucking room with about a dozen kids. Just everybody talking all at once.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to defend that. I hated that.
Well, we didn't defend that.
Friday the 13th, you saw this boy, this girl talking. Then they would pan over, this boy, this girl talking.
Right.
Then they would screen over to the next room. This boy, this girl talking. Right. Or fucking. Or doing something else. What really did it for me was the fact that there was like 20,000 fucking kids in this room bullshitting, and it was just like a lot of loud noise hitting me. And I was I can't get into it.
Okay. Imagine if you had one camera. You got one camera. and you're at Adam's house on a summer's night we're sitting around the fire.
Okay.
And you just, videotape what we're doing, everybody's talking at one time.
That's my point.
You're
Is that-
talking to him. I'm talking to this
but
person.
wouldn't you want to try to get zoned
Yes.
in on one specific thing? Because you can splice
if
and
I
cut
had the
film,
time,
right?
If I had the time, the funds, and
the experience,
and the
though.
experience, and the angles to do, I would.
Okay.
Here's the thing. If I went,
I'm just telling you.
No.
Wanted to know why I hated it.
I'm agreeing.
I told you.
I'm going to tell you why I like it.
Okay.
I agree that doesn't work. But I think it was just a mistake. I think it was, if I were thinking about, how do people interact? That is how they interact. I think that it was a mistake on their part to shoot it the way they did.
But
I don't think it was. I don't think it was a mistake to take that route. I think it was a mistake in the way they shot it.
But it's going to hit everybody differently.
Right.
I'm sure there's movies out there that you've started watching, like maybe you've seen the Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Mike doesn't shut anything off.
Okay, all right, but you want to. I know you do.
You'll learn it.
there's movies.
All right, you get 5 minutes in, you're like, fuck, I'm trapped.
There was ever one movie in my entire life that I ever shut off, and that was The Undead vs. the Bikers.
I shut that off too.
That was the only movie I've ever shut off.
So you understand where I'm coming from when I saw that, and I'm like, whoa.
If you watch Undead vs. the Bikers, you might be like, yeah, this.
I might even like it. You
No,
never know.
you won't.
Well, you would, because there's a shower scene for like 5 minutes in the beginning. Yeah. But getting back to Night Before Easter, I don't know, man. I'm on a completely different level right on this.
And I agree. I'm not going to disagree with you. What really turned me off about it was that part in the beginning.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I hated that too, but once that was passed,
Me too. I got past it as well.
I got past that and I was like, all right, this is fucking awesome. Because
Sometimes you get caught up on something. I'm
not going to
may
say
have
it was a
got- I may
perfect
have gotten-
movie.
It's
I'm not saying
It's not a perfect
I'm
movie.
not
Maybe I
saying,
got
I'm not
stuck
saying
on
it's a
that.
perfect movie, but I'm saying everything that's in that movie is what I would like to see in that type of movie.
Yes. And I don't think we see enough of it. I think we see too much spoof and satire of slasher movies and not enough slasher movies. We see a lot of people making fun of them and not enough people trying to make them.
I bought a set of movies that had, I did them on the show. There was like 12 movies on the disc.
Yeah.
They were all independent films. 1 out of 12 was a good movie. I watched
that,
all of
yeah.
them. Remember that? There was only one good movie on there. So there are indie films that are just fucking shit.
There's a lot of shitty ones.
Most of them are shit.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, this one stuck out
And
to me.
I'll tell you what, that's going
I
to be
think there's something here. I really do.
That's going to be my downfall because I'm the type of person that, like,
That's why you're
when
on
I'm
here.
reading a book, if I
That's
don't
why
get,
you're on here.
if I don't get grabbed in the first 10 minutes of my reading a book, fucking forget it. I'm going to throw it down. It's the same
they
with a
even-
movie. If I'm watching a movie, if the beginning the opening doesn't grab me, they better fucking have something grab me afterwards because if it doesn't, I'm just going to
Better have guys on a boat disarming bombs for 2 hours.
Yeah, really.
You're gonna be fucked.
They went as far as to, well, why the fuck don't you just walk out of the storage unit? No, they went as
yeah,
far
I
as
do
to
like- yeah.
tell you why you couldn't get out.
Yeah.
Like,
They
you couldn't
did
get out of that
establish
place.
that,
You were
right.
stuck in the storage
established
unit.
it.
Am I done yelling yet?
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
funny, man, because...
All right.
No,
We can move on.
We need an opinion from... You and I actually argued on this, but typically we don't. And it's good to get an
This
opinion.
is the first movie we ever argued on.
Yeah, it's good to get an opinion that, I think you probably do represent... like, we watch a lot of this shit.
Yeah.
So, like,
I'm coming in on the tail end of this, so I'm watching.
But I
you
think
guys
that's-
have watched your
I
share
think
of
that's a
shit
good
movies.
thing. I think that's a good thing.
It wasn't a shit movie. What do you mean?
No, I'm saying you watched it. I didn't say this was a shit movie. I said you've watched your share of shit movies.
Oh, okay.
So you've already experienced
All right.
that, and
He's saying we're more ready to ease our way
you've
in.
delved into the
Right.
deeper sense
Right.
of how they're made and
Yes.
what they're trying to get across, the point they're trying to make to people when they're making their movie.
All right,
All
fair
right,
enough.
I'll shut my mouth.
All right, let's go.
No, you don't have to. No, I enjoy a
It's a
second
very
opinion.
good discussion on this. So
Yeah.
very heated. Surprising. I did not think we were gonna have such a
And
heated discussion over the night before Easter. When I picked it for the pod, I never thought that was gonna happen.
And I knew it from the start when I saw it. I'm like, maybe
like all these guys, these guys.
maybe I should rent.
That ain't good.
I should.
Oh fuck.
No, you guys keep going.
Keep going.
I said to myself, maybe I should rent the Attack of the Gorilla. Like, cause I watched the whole preview of that and I'm like, wow, this looks fucking badass.
Of Night Before Easter?
Yeah,
or
no,
Attack of the Gorilla?
the Attack of the Gorilla. And I'm like, no, I better watch Night Before Easter cause, you know,
Right.
I should have fucking went with my first instinct.
Yeah. You might have hated Attack of the Gorilla, though. Which,
I don't know. It looked funny.
We're gonna
I
get
didn't
into that
see it,
next,
so I
but-
mean, it did.
right.
I don't have anything to input.
But here
But
I'm going to
it
give. This is what I'm going to give you the contrast of. So Night Before Easter again. Attack of the Gorilla is intentionally going out to make a spoof,
Yeah.
and that I know comedy's not easy. I don't want to say comedy's easy. It's not, but I do believe it's hard to make a horror film scary. You know, so Attack of the Gorilla is easier because all you have to do is make us laugh. All you have to do is have a dude running around in a hairy suit.
And you don't even have to.
You know?
You don't have to work it. You can.
And-
all you need is the concept.
Right.
And as long as you just follow it, you're gonna make people laugh, even when you're acting seriously.
Bad effects, perfect.
Yeah.
Bad acting, perfect.
Yeah.
It's like you need to hit on every single thing that an indie film sucks, which is why a lot of indie films go down the route of spoof because they can't afford good actors, so they hire actors who can't act because bad acting is funny. So, you know, maybe you would have liked Attack of the Gorilla because
I think I would have enjoyed it.
right, it's actually giving you a spoof of almost indie film in a way. So,
And as always, you can find us on the web at midnighttriplefeature.blogspot.com, on Twitter at MTFeature, and on Facebook. And on Facebook. And on Facebook. And on Facebook.